Welcome back to Leeds Lately. Today I'm going to be talking about Leeds losing 4-2 against Arsenal at the Emirates. So again, the curse of London hit. It's not real, is it? But it's just a coincidence that we cannot win in London. Before this game, I think a lot of people were actually confident about beating Arsenal, given the way that they've played for the most part this season. They have been a little bit better recently, but we had confidence going into this game, and the first half I think was probably is up there with the worst that I've seen under Bielsa. It's one of the worst Bielsa performances that we've had. Second half, I think we were back to ourselves, but too little too late. With Calvin missing, with Rodrigo missing, we just didn't have that spark. We didn't have enough off the bench. The players who did come off the bench, Roberts, Costa, did okay for the most part, but they weren't enough in the end. So as there were so many goals, and we don't want this video to be that long, I'm just going to go through what happened for the actual goals. Arsenal's first goal came in the 13th minute. Aubameyang did a couple of step overs inside the box and then shot low into the bottom corner. The ball went between Cooper and Ayling. I think they could have done better to defend it. They didn't know which way he was going to go, but it's kind of obvious that he was going to cut inside and try and use his preferred right foot. So then the excuse of being wrong-footed, you should really know which way he's going to go. And Meslier was expecting him to go into the far corner, and he took a gamble and took a step to that side, and that was just enough to stop him being able to dive right and save it near post. The penalty that wasn't a penalty in the end was a bit of a warning sign. It's where Saka was running through on goal and Cooper came across to try and make a tackle, but sort of pulled out last minute. Saka went down anyway, expecting the contact. There wasn't really any contact and it got overruled by VAR. 7 minutes later, Meslier's messing around with the ball in the box. He doesn't clear it the first chance he gets, and he kicks Saka, and it's a penalty. Aubameyang dispatches, top corner, 2-0. That is an absolute killer. When you've already gone down 1-0 early on in the game, to concede a second one like that is not great. It's not great for morale. We know that this Leeds team, that's almost not a factor sometimes. But in that first half, we looked like we were giving up the ghost a little bit after that. 3-0 came 5 minutes later. There was a good Saka ran from the right-hand side, and nobody could put a tackle in him as he ran straight across the face of the box, on the outside of the box. He passed it into Aubameyang. Aubameyang crossed it in. Bellerin headed it back to Ceballos. Ceballos almost played a 1-2 with him by nutmegging Click, and Bellerin shot near post and it went in. Another one where Meslier definitely should have done better, and he knows he should have done better because you could tell he was fuming after he conceded those goals. It's not great goalkeeping. He's 20. It's not excusable, but it's something that you can hope that he will improve in the future. Young goalkeepers are going to have mistakes in him, but if he's doing this in 2 or 3 years' time, then you know it's a problem. That was the worst time to concede a third. I thought at 2-0 you can see Leeds coming back into the game with the firepower that we can create, but that 3-0, that was a bit of a killer in that first half. At half-time, Costa and Roberts came on for Harrison and Click. Like I said before, Costa gave away the ball for Arsenal's 4th goal that fell to Aubameyang, that fell to Smith Rowe. Smith Rowe did a shot that was definitely a shot. It was just scuffed and it went to Aubameyang, who headed it in to make it 4. That was Costa giving it away. Costa for the rest of the game wasn't that bad. It's just that rustiness coming straight off the bench, and he gave it away for that goal. Niall Huggins came on and made his senior debut for Leeds for Alioski. I don't know if he did start in central midfield or what, but he did seem to go to right back a bit later on in the game, and Shackleton went into midfield. Niall Huggins, he did alright. I could tell he was a bit nervous and that he was trying to play the simple stuff well, which is absolutely fine. That's what you want. You want someone, if they're going to make a debut and they're young, you want to be able to pass them the ball, them to take 1 to 2 touches and just pass it back to the nearest player to them that's not in danger. And I think he did that. And I don't think he gave away the ball in any really dangerous positions. I thought he did okay. In the 58th minute, Struijk's 50p head actually went in. It was actually a great header, to be fair. It was whipped in off a corner from Rafinha, and Struijk had the run on David Luiz, jumped higher than him and headed it into the top corner. It was a great header. I didn't even celebrate. I just went, right. when you 4-0 down and you score a header off a corner, you're like, all right, okay. Glad we scored, but having said that, 11 minutes later, Costa makes it 4-2 after a Roberts ball from the left-hand side cut in, and he sort of gets there first in front of the defender and flicks it over the keeper. Good goal. 4-2. You're thinking, right, comeback's on. Never came to fruition. We lost the game 4-2. But Costa and Roberts, the two substitutes, combined to score the goal. So, yeah. That's a positive, I guess. I felt that Hernandez could have played in this game. After that, I'd say that Leeds had the majority of the possession. We created a few chances, but nothing that went in, obviously. We had that one that was cut from the right-hand side across the box that Bamford nearly got to, but David Luiz got there just ahead of him. The one where Roberts chipped it over the defenders and Shackleton tried to volley it first time and missed it. It's his weak foot. I don't think we're ever going to come back. You start to believe, don't you, when it's 4-2 and you've got about half an hour left, but they gradually brought on more defensive players, starting with El Neni and ending with Holding, to just shore up that victory, really. I don't think they ever really thought that we would be able to come back, and like I say, they just sat in and defended the lead and got the 3 points. My reaction to the way we set up is that I don't think we should have disrupted the defence. I don't think Struijk should have come out of that back line. I think Struijk should have sat in the back line with Cooper, as usual, Ayling at right back, Alioski at left back, Click in holding midfield, either him or Shackleton. And then you should have had Dallas and Roberts, or Dallas and Shackleton as the two central midfielders, or Pablo. Pablo could have played in there definitely today. And then there's obviously Rafinha, Harrison and Bamford. But he didn't do that. It was a big change to the whole team. Everybody's been shifted around positions just to accommodate Struijk being in holding midfield, where he's not fantastic anyway. He did okay today, but you don't see him making any of those long cut-in passes. A lot of the time, Struijk, because he's a centre half, he passes sideways and backwards when he gets on the ball in that midfield spot. So I think we definitely miss Calvin again, and I think we definitely need another central midfielder in the summer who can fill in those sorts of positions, because we don't have anyone that's good enough to be a backup to Phillips. If Phillips gets injured long term, I worry for us in the way that we play, because Struijk isn't good enough to play there. He's brilliant as a centre half. I really rate him, and I know that Bielsa likes to have versatile players, but I don't think Struijk's the one in that central midfield spot. That's just my opinion, but yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Thanks for watching. If you want to check me out on Twitter, that's Leeds_Lately. There's a piece up on the Leeds Lately website as well about Patrick Bamford's 100th goal that came against Palace earlier in the week. And thanks for watching.